Well, you.
Hey Eric, we know you're an old timer, but the real old timers, this Texas series is the big one. Do you guys get any sense of the importance of the Texas rivalry?
Oh yeah, for sure, man. Coach Pittman been going over history since last week about it, just dating back to the first rivalry and how it kind of doled out when we moved to the SEC and how we kind of reunited it back in 2021. But I mean, yeah, he's definitely been talking about it a lot.
Luke, any thoughts about just if you have any friends or family who kind of know the long-term connection to Texas?
Not really much with my friends and family, but just being around here and getting recruited here, just the hype around the game and just how excited we are to be able to play another top 10 team, which is Texas, but just Texas in general. I mean, it's exciting for us as a team.
Yeah, Eric, I was watching some highlights of the game from 21 today, and the 4th and 1 play. You were right in on that play, right? On when you stopped Bijan.
I think so. I don't remember. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah, I think Hayden Henry hit him, and you were right there, and Grant Morgan. But anyway, what do you recall from the 21 game, and where that maybe sits for you in your memory?
Man, it was a big game, man. I mean, like kind of like how Coach Pitt was this week about telling us the rivalry stuff. He did the same thing when we played him, telling us the rivalry, how important it is. I mean, we just went out there and we played a great game.
Can you speak to Texas's weapons? They're pretty diversified on offense, like to hit the edges.
Yeah, man. They throw a lot of to the perimeter play to try to get guys open in space. I mean, they got a lot of screens and stuff like that. So we just gotta really run and crowd the ball. And like you said, they got a lot of great weapons on the receiver, and they got a great running backs. I mean, the line's probably gonna be one of the best lines that we didn't play so far, man. So I mean, they got a great group over there.
Luke, Texas's numbers on defense are really stout too. What do you make of them?
Their D line up front they're really big, and they do a good job. They're really simple, but they play hard and they fire off in their gaps, and so we're gonna be ready for that. And that's something we've been working on at practice this week. And then they have guys in the secondary too who can make plays, so it'll be exciting for our offense to get to go against them.
Thanks, y'all.
Trey, go ahead.
Yeah, Luke, I was just curious if you could go into a little bit more detail about what makes Texas so good, though, on in pass defenses. Or it seems like, I mean, they're like 89 efficiency rating, which is really unheard of.
hmm Yeah, I think they just do a really good job of what they're coached to do. I mean, they don't really have to do that much because they have really good guys up front who are, like I said, big and they're physical and they work a lot. You can see how it pays off just with how they've been playing the past couple games.
Are they getting a lot of pressure? Is that part of it?
A little bit. I mean, we're still breaking down some of the film and stuff and picking up on stuff that they're doing, but they're really, like I said, they're really simple and we just got to be able to withstand that, and that's something that us as a group with the offensive line has been working this week.
Yeah, Eric, on the other side of the ball, I was wondering what you could tell us a little bit about their personnel up front on the offensive line.
Man, yeah, they got a great group over there, man. I mean, they got a lot of guys that knit well together, and you can see it on film, man. They play great together, and just individual, man. It's a lot of great individual play also on online, man. So we got to prepare for that.
Luke, did you watch the 21 game, or were you here? Or
I was not here, but my brother was here, and I wish I would have been here, but just from hearing from that and some of the guys who are on the team in my class that came to that game as recruited to me, and I just heard it was amazing, like amazing, way better than even the Tennessee game, just because of the hype around the game. So I'm excited to feel that atmosphere.
Thanks, fellas.
Go ahead.
Hey guys, how you doing? Luke, I know you got recruited by everybody, and I saw Texas among the list of teams that you were offered. Do you remember that? And did you give them any thought at all?
To be honest, not really, but I mean they were a great team, so I was obviously thinking about them a little bit, but really Arkansas, and then I had like two other schools was my main focus, and definitely happy I chose Arkansas.
And then your production has picked up the last couple games. You reception wise, I know you were had the bad back earlier. Just well, what do you thought about how you've played, especially the last couple games? Just how are you feeling physically right now?
Well, I'm feeling great right now. I feel so much better. I mean, I feel younger if that's even possible for how young I am. But I think the biggest thing is building trust with Talon and Coach Petrino and the offense, and just knowing that I can do what I can do, and they've been able to see that at practice, and it's paid off in the games.
You obviously had the season-ending injury last year, and then this year you had an injury. I think you only missed one game, but I know it limited you quite a bit. And I'm sure you had to miss practice and couldn't be as prepped as you'd like to be. Just what's it like dealing with those injuries? Whether it's obviously season ending last year, but then this year kind of having to do it in season and then come back from it.
Yeah, well, I got to play in all the games, and I didn't miss any practices. It was mostly just like a maintenance thing. Like it would bother me at halftime, but I've been in the training room constantly, and I've figured out a routine and stuff. It's just, I mean, I don't have any problems with it anymore. So, I mean, it's been really good to have that, and I also have a foundation of stuff that goes wrong. I mean, I know what to do to get back out on the field.
And Eric, I know you don't cover look in practice. At least I don't think you do. But maybe you have dropped or something. But well, what do you think of him as a as a defensive guy looking at an offensive guy, and just what he means to the team, especially when he's healthy and is able to do what he can do now?
Man, he's huge for the team, man. He adds another dimension to our offense, man. I mean, he really opens up a lot of the runs too, because he can catch the ball in his routes, man. So he's huge for our team.
And look, I remember Petrino talking about this in camp that you're improved as a blocker. How's the blocking been for you this season?
It's definitely slowed down a lot with being able to have Coach Turner as our coach, and Coach Mateos as well. But just with like technique and taking the right footwork and stuff, and I feel like we've repped it so much since last year that it's just becoming natural, especially for the whole tight end room, not just me. But yeah, Coach Turner's done a great job with us.
Yeah, I might have a couple more. I'll turn back to Oliver if I can come back later. Thanks.
Go ahead, Jackson.
Hey guys, for either of you, has there been a moment in kind of the discussions about the old games or watching some clips, like one particular game that's maybe stood out to the team when going back and going through the old footage?
You talking from 2021?
No, just from the Texas rivalry in general. You guys Sam has talked about kind of talking about the games in the 60s and, 70s and stuff. Is anything from, back then before 2021 maybe stood out to the team?
I mean, yeah, I just speak on the rivalry part. I mean, a lot of like the older guys and like 50, 60, I mean, they hate Texas like they hate Texas more than they love Arkansas, like you've seen on social media. So I mean, just seeing that and watching those games, man, I mean, you can see that watching those games.
Anything stand out to you, Luke?
Just with what Coach Pippen talked about this week is just how many like consecutive years back then we played them in a row, and then now them coming into the SEC, us getting to start that new trend. It'll be exciting for our fan base and for our team.
And Eric, Georgia's one or Texas one loss this year to Georgia. They got a lot of pressure on Ewers, especially early. I mean, has that been a focal point from Travis and Deke? Just like that's going to be kind of the key for the defense is getting pressure on him.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. Really, this we want to do that every game that we play. I mean, yeah, some is harder than others, but I mean, yeah, like you said, we seen the Georgia game. They got a lot of pressure on him, man. You kind of see it affecting him a little bit, man. So we definitely want to try to go in and get pressure on him.
Thanks, guys.
Bob, wrap it up.
Okay. Luke, you were playing so well when you got hurt last year. But do you feel like you're playing better now than you were then just because you're older and, stronger and more experienced, et cetera?
Yeah, I'd say that for sure. Especially just having another year under Coach Turner's belt with all the like the details and little things that, I mean, our vocabulary is the same now. I can almost read his mind before he's about to say something. So that's definitely helped improve my game. And having Coach Petrino too has been really good for us as a tight end room, especially as the season goes on, because we're starting to gel and understand the offense more.
And I guess, obviously the winning's the main thing and numbers. I know you're not just about numbers, but the fact 9 catches in 2 games, that's pretty productive. Do you feel like you can keep doing that here the last part of the season?
Yes. But whatever Coach Petrino wants us to do during that game, whether it's block 100 times or run routes 100 times, I mean, that's whatever we'll do because that's just how we're coached and how we're built as a room.
And then I know a welcome date's I'm sure it's an open date is welcome, especially late in the season. But last open date didn't go so well. I know LSU has a lot to do with that. They're really good. But have you guys handled the open date any differently? And is there some extra motivation because the last open date, the next game you played, didn't go so well? I guess
Yeah,
Eric, take that first.
yeah.
And then
I mean, yeah, man, we're attacking it, man. We're not really just, going through the motions. I kind of feel like kind of was last time. We kind of really just going through the motions. And I feel like this one, man, it wasn't none of that. I mean, we was hitting almost every day. And I mean, you can tell the attention to detail is there more than it was than the LSU week. So I mean, that's how I think we're attacking it.
Yeah, I think for us as offense too, we've been able to watch more film and study what they're doing, and it's paid off in practice with us being able to see what they're doing before the ball's even snapped.
and look at that. Without giving away any secrets, do you feel like Texas is a team that you can have a good game against? I mean, at tight end wise.
Well, going into every game, I feel like each game could be a good game for us as tight ends. So I mean, that's the mindset I'm going to go into with this game.
And when you've been slowed earlier back, I can just imagine. I can only imagine how bad that must be for a player. But when you feel right like you do now, just how good is that? And how much do you appreciate feeling that way?
Yeah, I definitely appreciate that. But also, I feel like too, whenever you have injuries or back problems, it only makes you and molds you into a better player for the future.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Gee, Luke, good stuff, guys. See you Saturday.
Thank you.
Oh, you? Yeah, Fernando, I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about this Texas defense. Obviously, they do a really good job at stopping the pass. A pretty good run stopping team too.
Yeah, they do everything kind of well. Uh, they're solid. They do their job very well, and I think just kind of what makes them good is that all of them do their job and they let each other, play off of each other. Nobody's trying to be a superstar. They know their job, they do it well, and they let others kind of play off of them, and that's just what makes them good. And all 11 of them are on the same page.
Is there anything? I mean, like some of like the pass efficiency defense is like historically good, like 89. Is there something else that they do that maybe is different than just regular good defenses? I mean, because those are some pretty ridiculous numbers.
Yeah, I don't really know too much that goes on in the secondary. That's kind of not my role, but
Yeah, but pressures and stuff getting to the
yeah,
quarterback.
yeah, on the defensive line, they have a lot of different looks. And like I said, they all know their gaps that they're supposed to be in. Hardly ever we ever see them miss or like gap in the wrong gaps. And so I think that's what makes them good is that they're on the point, they're coached well, and they play hard.
Yeah, Brad, I was wondering the group behind you in the secondary. You've obviously watched those guys, and Coach Pittman kind of said it was kind of like open competition in the secondary. How have those guys responded after just really struggling so much against Ole Miss, and I guess trying to do a better job keeping things in front of them?
Over the week, them guys they've been pretty sound technical on their technique lately on the week. So they've been being coached up all week. They know they wrong, so they looking for some spaces to fix up. Going into this week, they're getting the mind right. Respond. Coaches always talk about respond, so it's up to the secondary to respond this week.
Some of the quarterbacks that you guys have faced who are a little more experienced have given you guys some troubles. Is that something you guys talk about at all, or is it known that like Nussmeier and Dart, some of those guys had a lot more experience, and then you got yours coming up who also has a lot of experience?
Yeah, we ran across some pretty good quarterbacks as the season went on. Quinn Ayers, he's one of those guys who's probably pretty good as the guys you just named. So we just got a game plan around his gameplay and play football.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Hey, Coach Pittman said Monday he's been showing y'all, video and talking about the series. What has soaked in for you guys, Brad, in terms of what this means to the fans, probably?
I know it's a pretty serious thing in Arkansas, and I want to keep this tradition up. So going into this week, I want to make these Arkansas fans happy.
Fernando, any thoughts about just maybe the stature of this rivalry?
Yeah, man, there's been a lot of teams that have played Texas and a lot of people that have put their life on the line, played their hearts out for Arkansas. And, we just want to carry on this legacy of, this rivalry and, showing why, Arkansas, leads this rivalry and why, this means so much to us.
Coach Pittman's teams have really played well out off of open dates before, but this year not so much against LSU. Did anything change the way you guys prepped after this open date, Fernando?
No, man, we practiced harder. I think, we were disappointed in the LSU loss, but our preparation was about the same. I think, there was a little bit more attention to detail, and we know that we had a really good opponent coming. We had a really good opponent in LSU, and we have even a better opponent in Texas. And so we're really just locked into the details and just kind of getting better each and every day.
Brad, any thoughts about wanting to come out hotter from this particular open date?
Really just start off fast. That's something we have been, well, from last game, that's something we didn't do. So from this game, we preparing to start fast and finish strong.
And what do you think about their running game? I think they have three really good backs, and they seem to be fast.
They got pretty good backs. Actually, I played with the guy Jaden Blue in high school, so I'm pretty familiar with his game. So other than that, they got some pretty good backs on their end.
What can you say about Jaden?
He's probably quick. He's a quick guy. He give you 2 moves and he get up vertical. So he's more of a receiving type back to me. He doesn't really I don't see him really run threat, but open space, he's a threat.
All right. Hey, thanks, guys.
Yeah, hi guys. I guess Fernando talking to Sam this week, he said the talent level on up front between Ole Miss and Texas is probably similar. I guess is there anything that you guys can take from maybe that Ole Miss game and kind of apply it maybe to the Texas game?
Yeah, we just got to play better on the O-line. Obviously, we didn't have our best performance on that Ole Miss game, and like you said, the talent level is about the same. So it's just about looking at our past film and how are we going to correct it this week and how are we going to get better this week. And I think the way we've been preparing right now, it's been leading up to a point where we're going to have a great Saturday.
And then Brad, I guess right after the Ole Miss game, Sam talked about maybe needing to disguise coverages a little bit better. I guess having been through the open week and looking at everything, is there anything else the units picked up on and in that regard?
Really, we just trusting T. Will's game plan for the game. So whatever he wants us to do, we'll do it. And then if that means disguising the coverage, then that'll be that.
Appreciate it, guys. All the best.
Thank you.
All right, Bob. Close it out.
I guess for both guys, Sam said he showed you all a lot of film of old games and stuff, some stuff from the 60s, which black and white, probably not a lot of pixels. I'm not even sure I don't think they had pixels back then, but just wondering, what was it like watching those old films, especially the ones from like 64, Ken Hatfield run the punt back 40 years ago and 69. So some of the other games, like, well, what was that like for you guys watching those old films?
Yeah, he showed us a couple clips. It was kind of funny because you really couldn't see it, but it was kind of great to see that Arkansas and Texas had been dueling out for that long. So that was something exciting to see.
Yeah, I'll just kind of add on. It's about like perspective. There's been a lot of people who've played in this game, and just shows how long this rivalry has gone back. It was to the point where you could barely even see it on the TV, and now we're here. I mean, 60 years, 70 years later, and this game still means the world to, Arkansas and Texas.
I'm guessing growing up in Vegas and living and playing in San Jose, you probably didn't hear a whole lot about Texas, Arkansas. Maybe Brad heard a little bit more about it down in Houston. But do you remember the first time you got a sense? Maybe it was this week when you got a sense for Arkansas, Texas, and what it means, especially the Arkansas folks.
I think it was probably when I first saw that press conference. It was at the beginning of the year when the coach for Texas was like, talked about how Arkansas fans, love or hate Texas more than they love themselves. And that was when I first was like, wow, this is real. And so it was exciting. When I first heard that, I kind of put it into perspective. And then obviously we locked in on all the other games. And now we're here and, it feels real. You can feel the rivalry. And I'm excited to play in it and make history.
And then, I'm sorry, you go ahead, Brad.
Yeah, I feel like this is a game that people in Arkansas have been anticipating. And back on what he said when Pitt was like, the Arkansas fans hate themselves, hate the Texas more than they hate themselves. So that was something that was pretty intense.
They hate themselves more than they love, or hate Texas more than they love themselves.
Yeah, right there.
And hey, Luke Haas was on earlier. I know he obviously was hurt last year, and He was I guess bad back earlier this year, but now he seems says he's feeling real good. He's been pretty productive. For both you guys, maybe Fernando, you could take it first, and then Brad. Just what have you seen from Luke in these games and practice, and how important is he when he's healthy and really being productive like he has been of late?
Yeah, he's just kind of that glue to the offense that puts everything together. Obviously, he was injured a little bit earlier on in the season, and just kind of getting him back to like full go these past few games, you could see, our offense just opens up so much more when he's full speed, when he's full go, and he means the world to our offense. And having him on out there, he just finds a way to get open and make plays, and so it's awesome having him out there. He's great energy, he's a great leader, and it's a true blessing to have him out there.
Yeah, from what I've seen last year from Luke did, I got a glimpse of what he can do. So now that he's there for this year, he's pretty productive for our offense, and I'm glad he's on our team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Brad, I don't know if you tried to cover him some in practice or gone against up him as a blocker, but I mean, probably need to have a safety on him, I would think, or maybe that's not good enough either. But how tough do you think it is for a defender to cover Luke? And then how have you seen his blocking come along?
He's a pretty well balanced tight end. He has a great route tree to him. Me and him, we go back at it forth at practice, iron sharpens iron. And blocking wise, he stands his ground pretty good. I feel like the offense is using him well and putting him in the right positions to make plays.
Okay, guys, I appreciate y'all.
Appreciate you, Bob.
Guys, thank you. Saturday.